So we've talked about this topic before, but what is my favorite blade shape and why? And it's changed over the years. I'm going to tell you, I absolutely love most blade shapes. For a long time, drop point was my favorite blade shape. And absolutely, this is still a very, very good blade shape. Especially if you've got a nice drop point that has some belly at the front, but a long straight. And we'll get into that in a second. I do love recurves. Recurves give you a lot of additional radius on that where you can have a lot more cutting potential. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite knives of all times is my Grimsma Norseman, which is a recurve Tonto. And so that offers a lot because you have all this area where you get a lot of power cutting. But if I had to pick one blade shape that I could honestly say was my favorite, it's going to be this, the Wharncliffe or the sheep's foot, and I'll tell you why. So what you get on these, this is a Wharncliffe, this is more of a sheep's foot, this is definitely a Wharncliffe. You get a lot of ability to do things. This is kind of a modified sheep's foot. It's got the more rounded point, but it's not got any real belly on it. So, I mean, there's different variations on it, but the reason I love these are you still have a very piercing point to do any of the things you want to do, but you've got that ability to get all the way up on it, put some force down on it and cut and have complete control over what you're doing. They're easy to resharpen because you don't have to worry about like at the tip where that angle changes because they're perfectly straight, and that gives you an added benefit, just like this one. When you have that straighter edge, when you're using a regular knife, let me grab that drop point that we had. When you're using a regular knife and you're up and you're cutting, you're putting force down, you're cutting till you get to the point where this starts to drop off, and then it has a tendency to slip off your work surface right there, and you lose that ability to cut. This is really good for cutting around things, for skinning, for game, and things like that, having that belly. But for most of the things I do these days, this is where I'm using the knife, here, not up here. So this allows you to have that same potential of cutting all the way to the very tip of the blade. You can also take this and get up under things, lift up under something. Well, I didn't mean to do that, but you can absolutely get up under what you're working on. Say you want to cut a piece of line that's tied around something, but you don't want to cut the underlying material. You can kind of work this up and under and then just pop up under it and snap under it. It's really good for working with line, with rope and things like that. And then the other thing is, if you're wanting to cut something and you want to get up and you want to be able to cut like a perfectly straight line, you can do it with this, but you're going to be closer up on that belly and you're going to lose some of that control, and you've got a lot more chance that you're going to lose your ability to keep a good, clean line. So if you happen to be up on something you wanted to cut perfectly with this, your finger's right there and you're just guiding yourself through the material. So a lot of these newer knives, the Wharncliffe and sheep's foot knives, like my Master Blaster, and this, Slayback from Monterey Bay Knives, have definitely become some of my favorite knives because of how they perform and how they cut and what you can do with them. Now, when I get, depending on what scenario I'm in, I might want a drop point or a recurve, but for most of my day-to-day carry, it's going to be a Wharncliffe. So there you go. What is my favorite and the reason behind it? So guys, don't forget to check out channel sponsor Coffee Brand Coffee. Save 5% if you use my coupon code CrazySharp. No politics, no pandering, fresh roasted, on demand, delivered to your door. Guys, I'll see you next time.